Teleris 4 was not a special world. It had no rare minerals, no ancient treasure, no military value. It was simply a quiet farming colony where families lived under twin suns and worked in green fields. But all of that changed in one single night. The sky turned red. The ground shook. And the people of Teleris 4 understood something terrible. They were under attack. The invasion begins. The enemy came from the clouds, tall metal drones with glowing red eyes and long spider-like legs. They dropped from dark ships like falling knives, landing in the middle of streets, destroying everything they touched. Homes were crushed. Roads were split open. Communication towers fell like toys. The colony leader, Elora, watched from the command center as the enemy swarmed across their world. Her voice shook, but she forced herself to speak into the emergency transmitter. "This is Teleris 4. We are under attack. We need help. Anyone please respond." Static answered her. The enemy machines marched closer. The Council's cruel decision. Finally, a hologram flickered alive. A Galactic Council officer appeared. Elora felt a small wave of hope. "Thank the stars. The officer interrupted her. "Colony Teleris 4, we received your distress call." "Then send ships." Elora cried. "We cannot hold them." The officer looked down, his face empty. "We are sorry. The Council has decided that sending rescue forces is not strategic." Elora froze. "Not strategic? We are dying. There are children here. The Council cannot risk ships for a colony with no military value." Elora stared at the hologram, unable to breathe. "Are you saying you are abandoning us?" The officer did not look at her. "The decision is final. May you find peace." The hologram vanished. The communication shut down. And the colony fell into silence. The last rooms of safety. Elora returned to the underground shelter, where hundreds of civilians hid behind a thick sealed door. The walls were cold and the lights flickered from low power. As Elora entered, people gathered around her. "What did the Council say?" an older man asked. Elora looked at their scared faces. Mothers holding crying babies. Injured workers leaning on each other. Children hugging their pets and stuffed toys. Her voice broke. They are not coming." Whispers spread through the room like a cold wind. "They left us. We're going to die here. Is there no one who will help?" Outside, enemy drones scraped metal against the shelter door, testing its strength. Boom, boom, boom. Each hit echoed through the room. A little girl cried. "Mom, they're coming inside. The enemy hunts them." Hours passed. Every minute, the enemy machines got closer to breaking in. The alarms faded one by one as power dropped. The air inside the shelter became hot and heavy. People breathed fast, scared, desperate. Elora looked around and wondered if she had failed her people. She whispered to herself, "Is this how we end? Forgotten? Left to die?" Her deputy, Soren, put a hand on her shoulder. "It's not your fault. The Council decided our fate long before tonight." Elora closed her eyes. Boom. The door shook harder. Boom. Metal began to crack. The people inside held each other tighter. Some prayed. Some cried. Some whispered final words. "Thank you for being with me. I love you. Maybe it will be fast." Elora stood in front of the door, determined to face whatever came. If this was the end, she would meet it standing. The final attempt at hope. With shaking hands, Elora activated a weak emergency beacon, the last tool not controlled by the Council. "This is Teleris 4. To anyone out there. Anyone. We are trapped. We are hunted. And we have been left to die." The beacon blinked weakly. No answer. The door behind her groaned. A long metal scream. The drones were almost through. Soren swallowed. "This is it." The lights flickered. The ceiling shook. People screamed. Elora raised her head one last time, her voice tired and broken. "Please, someone, hear us." The beacon blinked its final red light. And then it died. Darkness filled the shelter. Only the sound of claws on metal remained. Screech. Crack. Boom. The door bent inward. Children cried. Parents held their families close. Everyone waited for the machines to tear through. Elora whispered, "I'm sorry." The drones roared. The door split. And then, a new signal burst through the radio. Strong. Clear. Powerful. A deep human voice spoke. "This is the Terran Union. Hold your position. We are on our way." Elora froze. "What? Humans?" Another voice followed, calm but fierce. "You're not dying today. Deathworlders don't abandon anyone. The shelter erupted with hope, and for the first time that night, Alara smiled through her tears. Help was coming. From the only species brave, or crazy, enough to break the Council's orders. The Deathworlders. For the people trapped inside the underground shelter of Teleris 4, hope had almost died. The enemy drones were seconds away from breaking through. Children cried. Adults held hands, accepting their fate. But then a voice cut through the darkness like a blade of light. This is the Terran Union. Teleris, for we hear you. Alara gasped. Soren stared in shock. People all around looked at each other with disbelief. Humans. The one species the Galactic Council always warned others about. Dangerous. Unpredictable. Deathworlders. But now, they were the only ones answering the call. The human fleet arrives. Above Teleris 4's burning skies, space rippled with blue light. And then they arrived. A full human strike group, 3 battlecruisers, 7 destroyers and a swarm of heavy dropships, shot out of warp, ignoring every warning, every council order. On the bridge of the lead ship, Captain Rourke stood tall. His face was rough, eyes sharp, voice calm, even though he knew entering a council-restricted zone could get him court-martialed. He didn't care. He looked at his officers and said, "Activate shields. Target every hostile unit. We're saving those people." The officers nodded. Humans didn't abandon others. It wasn't their way. Rourke pointed at the burning planet below. "Send in the Helljumper teams." The battle in orbit. The enemy fleet reacted fast. Dark, insect-like ships rose from Teleris 4's atmosphere, firing red plasma beams. "Enemy vessels locking on," a human officer shouted. Captain Rourke smirked. "Let them try." The Terran battlecruisers unleashed their cannons. Bright blue streaks crossed space, ripping through the enemy ships. One explosion. 2. 5. Within minutes, the alien fleet began to retreat. Rourke didn't waste time celebrating. "Clear a path. Our people on the ground need us." Inside the falling shelter. Back on Teleris 4, Alara and her people held their breath as the human signal continued. "Dropships inbound. Stand by." The shelter door cracked again. A metal claw stabbed through. Screams filled the air. Soren shouted, "They're almost in." Alara tried to stay calm. "Hold on. The humans are coming." But even she wasn't sure if help would arrive in time. The drones tore another section of the door. It would not last much longer. The Helljumpers descend. 3 massive human dropships fell from orbit like burning meteors, engines glowing bright blue. Inside the lead drop pod, Sergeant Tara Briggs of the Helljumpers checked her armor seals. Her team sat around her, tough, scarred, battle-born soldiers with the cold eyes of those who had survived death more than once. A rookie soldier asked, "Sergeant, what's our mission?" Tara slammed a new magazine into her rifle. "Simple." Her voice was steady and confident. "No civilian dies today." The dropships hit the atmosphere. Fire streaked across their hulls. Alarms screamed. Tara smiled. "Let's go make the council angry." The pods broke off and rocketed toward the colony. The door breaks. The underground shelter shook as the drones finally smashed through the top hinges. The metal door bent inward. A mother screamed, shielding her child. The first drone pushed its glowing red eye inside, scanning for targets. People backed away crying. Soren grabbed a broken pipe, ready to fight even if it meant nothing. Alara whispered to herself, "Please, humans, hurry." The drone raised its killing weapon. And then, a thunderous boom hit the ground above them. Dust fell from the ceiling. Everyone froze. The Helljumpers hit the ground. Outside the shelter, the first human drop pod smashed into the enemy forces with brutal force. The pod burst open. Sergeant Tara Briggs jumped out, firing her rifle before she even touched the ground. Alien drones exploded one after another. Her team followed behind her, 12 armored soldiers moving with deadly precision. "Push forward," Tara shouted. "The civilians are beneath us." Drones swarmed from every direction, crawling down buildings, bursting from alleys. The Helljumpers cut them down like they were made of paper. But more kept coming. "Tara," one soldier yelled. "We're outnumbered." She grinned behind her helmet. "Good. Means we won't run out of targets." Hope breaks through the darkness. Inside the shelter, the people heard heavy footsteps. Fast, strong human footsteps. Then a loud metallic crash. A circle of glowing sparks appeared on the shelter door. Someone outside was cutting it open. Alara's heart raced. "They're here," she whispered. The door fell inward, this time not from enemy claws, but from a human boot kicking it open. A tall armored figure stood in the doorway, smoke rising behind her. Sergeant Tara Briggs stepped inside and shouted, "Terran Union! Stay low and stay behind us." The civilians burst into tears as hope flooded the room. Soren whispered, "Deathworlders, they actually came." Tara scanned the room and nodded. "You're safe now. We're getting you out." Behind her, more hell jumpers filled the entrance, guns glowing, armor scratched but unbroken. Elora stepped forward, tears in her eyes. Thank you for coming." Tara shrugged. "You called for help. So we came." She raised her rifle. "Now let's finish this." The shelter was filled with dust, smoke, and fear. But now a new feeling pushed through the darkness, hope. Sergeant Tara Briggs stood at the doorway like a steel guardian, her armor glowing with faint blue energy. Behind her, the rest of the hell jumpers spread out, weapons raised, guarding every angle. "Everyone stay close," Tara ordered. "We're taking you to the extraction point." Elora felt her legs shaking, but she stepped forward. Soren stood beside her, holding his injured arm but trying to stay strong. One of the human soldiers scanned the ceiling with a small drone. "Sergeant, enemy units closing in fast. We need to move." Tara nodded sharply. "Then let's move." The first step into chaos. The moment the civilians stepped outside the shelter, the smell of burning metal hit them. Buildings were half destroyed, streets cracked, vehicles overturned. The sky was filled with smoke trails from the earlier battle. Elora looked around in shock. This was our home." Tara put a hand on her shoulder. "It will be again. But right now we survive." Soren noticed something strange about the soldiers. Their armor was heavy, powerful, and covered in scratches. Yet they moved with confidence like nothing scared them. Deathworlders truly were different. Ambush at the ruined plaza. As they reached the open plaza, the ground suddenly shook. A loud screech echoed across the area. "Drones incoming," one helljumper shouted. Dozens of metal insect-like machines crawled across rooftops, walls, and broken walkways. Their red eyes glowed like angry stars. Tara reacted instantly. "Form a shield wall." 4 soldiers stepped forward, kneeling and activating large energy shields. Blue barriers appeared, covering the front. The civilians ducked behind them. Elora hugged a child close as plasma bolts smashed into the shields, sending sparks flying. Tara and her team opened fire. The plaza turned into a storm of noise, gunfire, explosions, metal claws scraping on concrete. A drone jumped over the shield wall, landing near the civilians. Soren grabbed a broken piece of metal and swung it. "Stay away from them." But before he could strike, a helljumper appeared behind him, catching the drone midair and smashing it into the ground. The soldier gave Soren a thumbs up. "Good effort. But let us handle the heavy lifting." Falling back. More drones flooded in from the back streets. "Sergeant," a helljumper yelled. "They're surrounding us." Tara scanned the battlefield, calculating every detail. Defense grid alpha pattern. Civilians, move behind the fountain. The team adjusted instantly like they had fought 1,000 battles together. Their formation shifted, covering every angle while slowly moving backward. Civilians crouched near the destroyed fountain as Tara knelt beside Elora. "How many injured?" 7, Elora replied, her voice trembling. "Too badly." Tara nodded and activated her helmet comm. "Medic, I need you on the civilians." A human medic rushed over, dropping his bag. His movements were quick but gentle. Soren watched in surprise. Humans had the reputation of being violent monsters. Yet here they were, protecting strangers. The giant awakes. A deep mechanical hum filled the air. The ground vibrated. Everyone looked up. A large shadow moved behind the destroyed government building. A massive enemy walker emerged. A towering machine with 4 legs, glowing red armor, and a cannon the size of a small ship. One civilian whispered, "We're dead." The walker locked onto the group. Tara's helmet flashed red warnings. "That thing will vaporize us," one soldier muttered. Tara stood tall. "Not today." She raised her hand. "All units, focus fire on the joints. Keep that thing away from the civilians." Her team shifted, firing at the weak points. But the walker was strong. Its armor barely cracked. The machine fired a huge plasma blast. The shockwave threw debris into the air. Civilians screamed as the blast hit the fountain, sending water and stone everywhere. Tara shielded Elora with her own body. "Stay down." The human warship intervenes. Suddenly the sky lit up with bright blue light. A beam of energy shot down from orbit, striking the walker's back. The machine staggered. Captain Rourke's voice echoed through Tara's helmet. "Sergeant, we're providing orbital support." Tara grinned. "Perfect timing, Captain." Rourke replied, "Finish it." Destroying the monster. With the walker stunned, Tara sprinted forward, her boots smashing cracked stone. She leapt onto a broken wall, then onto a pile of rubble, climbing fast. She reached the walker's leg and fired into an exposed joint. Metal melted. Sparks exploded. The walker stumbled. "Take it down," Tara shouted. The hell jumpers unleashed a final barrage. The giant machine groaned, legs failing. It crashed to the ground with a thunderous explosion. Civilians stared in disbelief. The Deathworlders had beaten a monster that looked unstoppable. Onward to the landing zone. "Move," Tara commanded. "We still have a long way to go." The civilians followed, stepping over rubble but holding their heads high now. They were no longer a helpless colony. They had protectors, human protectors. Elora walked beside Soren, whispering, "They didn't have to come, but they did." Soren nodded. "And they're not leaving without us." Tara led the group forward, scanning the horizon where the extraction ships waited. The path was dangerous. The enemy was regrouping. Their time was running out. But the humans refused to walk away. Not now. Not ever. The journey toward the extraction point felt endless. Every street was broken, every building damaged, and every shadow seemed dangerous. The civilians walked close together, guided and protected by the hell jumpers. Sergeant Tara Briggs led from the front, her rifle always raised, her eyes watching every rooftop. Behind her, Elora helped an injured young girl walk. Soren supported two older villagers who struggled with the uneven ground. But the humans never slowed down. "Keep moving," Tara ordered. "The landing zone is close." That single sentence kept everyone going. A city of ash. They entered what used to be Teleris 4's main marketplace. Now it was nothing but black ash and broken stalls. Burning signs flickered. Smoke made the sky look darker than night. A helljumper moved beside Tara. "Sergeant, long-range scanners show enemy movement closing in from 3 directions." Tara did not look surprised. "They know we're heading for extraction. They want to trap us." The soldier nodded. "Exactly." Tara breathed out slowly. "Then we'll break the trap." The first wave hits. As they crossed the ruined market, a loud roar echoed through the zone. Drrrr. Metal claws scraping stone. Swarms of small drones crawled over rooftops and dropped down from the sky in waves. Elora screamed as a drone landed just a meter in front of her. Tara reacted instantly. She fired a burst, bam, 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 and the drone exploded into metal pieces. "Shields up," Tara shouted. 3 helljumpers stepped forward, activating wide blue energy shields. Civilians crouched behind them as a rain of plasma bolts filled the marketplace. The shields crackled under the impact, but they held. Helljumpers fired back with calm, deadly accuracy. One soldier yelled, "Left flank." "They're climbing the tower." Tara spun, firing at drones crawling up a half-destroyed tower. The entire battlefield glowed with sparks and fire. "Pin down." The drones came faster and faster. There were too many. "We can't hold this line forever," a helljumper warned. Tara scanned the area quickly. There was a narrow pathway between 2 fallen buildings. It led straight toward the landing zone. She pointed. "There. Move civilians through that gap. Soldiers hold this position." The helljumpers nodded without hesitation. They formed a defensive circle, firing non-stop. Tara moved to Elora's side. "Take your people. Start moving. Don't stop unless I say." Elora hesitated. "But what about you?" Tara smirked. "We'll be fine. Go." The path to the landing zone. The civilians ran through the tight pathway while explosions thundered behind them. Soren carried an old man on his back, pushing himself beyond his limits. Children cried but kept moving. The narrow path opened into a small valley area. And at the far end, a shining steel dropship waited. Its engines hummed like a heartbeat. Blue landing lights glowed. They had reached the extraction point. A human pilot waved from the ramp. "Civilians, over here. Move, move, move." For the first time, Elora felt like they might survive. Tara's team falls back. Behind them, Tara and the helljumpers were fighting a losing battle. "Fall back," Tara shouted. "Stay in formation." The team slowly moved backward, firing at the endless drones. A plasma blast hit one soldier's armor, knocking him down. Tara grabbed his arm and pulled him up. "You're not dying today." Another drone leaped toward them. Tara kicked it midair, crushed it under her boot and fired point blank. Her armor was scorched. Her breathing was heavy. But she did not stop. "Sergeant," someone yelled. "We're almost at the landing zone." "Then keep moving. The enemy brings out its champion." Just when they reached the valley opening, the ground shook again. Not a walker this time. But something worse. A massive alien creature rose from the smoke. A war beast, 3 times the height of a human, covered in metal armor with glowing spikes. Its roar thundered across the ruins. Elora screamed when she saw it approaching from behind the Helljumpers. The human pilot shouted, "We need to take off soon. They won't survive that thing." Tara looked at the beast, then at the civilians. She raised her rifle. "Helljumpers, ready your heavy weapons." Her voice dropped to a cold, fearless tone. "We're ending this." The humans launched a powerful barrage: grenades, heavy shots, shoulder rockets. The beast charged through the explosions, roaring, barely slowing. Tara narrowed her eyes. Of course. Tougher than it looks. The final push. The Helljumpers reached the civilians. The pilot yelled, "Everybody on board. Quickly." But the beast was getting closer. Elora looked back and grabbed Tara's hand. "You have to come. Now." Tara shook her head. "Not until you're all safe." A huge metal claw slammed into the valley ground, sending a shockwave that threw dust and stones everywhere. The beast was only meters away. Tara whispered into her comm. "Captain Rourke, if you can hear me, we need help." Rourke answers. In orbit, Captain Rourke stood on the bridge, watching the battlefield on screens. He heard Tara's voice. His expression hardened. He turned to his weapons officer. "Fire the hammer lance." The officer looked shocked. "Sir, that weapon is not meant for low atmosphere." Rourke didn't blink. "They need it." The hammer falls. As the beast raised its claw to strike the dropship, a beam of pure blue energy shot down from the heavens. It hit the creature with unimaginable force. The valley lit up like a star exploding. The beast roared once, then collapsed, smoking and broken. The humans and civilians stared in awe. Tara smirked. "That's our captain." Liftoff. Tara helped Elora and Soren onto the dropship. The ramp closed. The engines roared. The ship lifted off the ground just as more drones swarmed into the valley. Too late. Elora watched the planet grow smaller through the window. She whispered, "They didn't leave us. They really didn't leave us." Tara sat down, exhausted but smiling. "Deathworlders don't walk away," she said softly. "Ever." The dropship shot upward through the dark, smoky sky. Inside, civilians sat pressed together, tired, scared but alive. For the first time in days, Elora felt clean air from the ship's filters. Children held the hands of their parents. Old villagers closed their eyes in relief. Soren leaned against the wall, breathing heavily. He looked at Tara Briggs, the Helljumper sergeant who had saved them again and again. She was silently checking her rifle, making sure it was ready, even though the immediate danger was gone. "You humans," Soren said softly. "You fight like fire itself." Tara smiled without looking up. Fire only spreads when something is worth saving. Breaking through the clouds. Outside the ship, lightning flashed across storm clouds created by the battle. The dropship trembled as they flew through turbulence. The pilot shouted from the cockpit. "Hold tight. We're entering upper atmosphere." Everyone grabbed onto something as the ship rattled hard. The engines roared louder. Elora closed her eyes, whispering a quiet prayer. And then, the ship burst through the final layer of clouds. Space opened in front of them. The stars looked clean, bright, untouched by war. Gasps filled the passenger bay. Some civilians even cried at the sight. They had survived. The fleet in orbit. Elora pressed her face to the window. Above them hung the massive shapes of the human fleet. Battlecruisers floated like steel giants. Destroyers glided in defensive formation. Blue lights shined across their hulls. Soren whispered, amazed, They came for us. All this just for us." Tara chuckled quietly. "Humans don't like bullies." The crew laughed softly. Some tension finally broke. A disturbing message. But the moment of peace didn't last long. The pilot called out, "Sergeant Briggs, we're receiving a priority transmission from the Galactic Council." Tara frowned. "Put it on the main speaker." The cockpit lights dimmed. A cold voice echoed through the ship, calm, official, and emotionless. "To the Terran Union fleet, you are operating in a restricted sector. Your rescue mission violates Council Directive 14B. You are ordered to withdraw immediately." The civilians looked confused. Elora stared at Tara. "Withdraw? But we're right here." The Council message continued. Surrender the rescued civilians to Council enforcement ships. They will be relocated according to protocol. Soren's heart froze. They wanted to take them? After abandoning them? The Council voice grew sharper. Failure to comply will be considered an act of aggression. The transmission ended. Silence filled the dropship. Tara clenched her jaw. Elora whispered, "Why? Why are they doing this?" Tara answered softly. "Because the Council never planned to help you. You were politically inconvenient." Human rage rising. Another soldier slammed a fist into the wall. "They left these people to die. And now they want to take them?" Soren stepped forward, confused and angry. "Sergeant, what will you do?" Tara looked up, her eyes cold. "We will do what humans always do." She stood. "We protect those who cannot protect themselves." The Council fleet arrives. Alarms blared suddenly. The pilot yelled. "Enemy ships entering orbit." Not drones, Council enforcement cruisers. The civilians panicked. "The Council is attacking us?" Elora cried. Tara took a deep breath. "Not yet. But they want to force us to hand you over." She tapped her helmet. "Captain Rourke, situation?" Rourke's voice came through, calm but angry. "The Council sent a detainment group. They claim these civilians belong to them." Tara replied, "They abandoned them." "Exactly," Rourke said. "And I'm not giving them up." The human line holds. The dropship approached the largest Terran battlecruiser, TUS Valiant. Its huge hangar doors opened, glowing blue. But before they could enter, 3 Council ships moved into the path. They blocked the hangar. A robotic Council voice transmitted. "Terran ship, turn over the aliens. This is your final warning." Tara felt her blood boil. How dare they? The civilians huddled behind her, afraid. Soren shouted, "They won't take us again. We won't survive it." Elora grabbed Tara's arm. "Please, don't let them take us." Tara squeezed her hand. "I promise. Nobody is taking you anywhere." Rourke makes his choice. On the bridge of the human flagship, Captain Rourke watched the Council ships on his screens. He knew what the Council wanted. He knew their threats. He also knew his own people, and the civilians depending on him. His voice went out to every Terran ship. "Hold formation. Do not fire unless fired upon. We protect the innocent." An officer hesitated. "Sir, the Council outranks us." Rourke turned sharply, eyes blazing. "Not today." The confrontation. The Council ships charged weapons. The human fleet powered shields. The entire orbit went silent, filled with tension. Elora whispered, "Will they kill us?" Tara placed a hand on her shoulder. "No. Not while we're here." The dropship engines roared as they prepared a last desperate push to reach the hangar. The Council voice came again. "Terrans, stand down." Rourke's voice responded. "Come take them." The entire dropship crew froze. Elora's eyes widened. Soren felt his heart stop. Tara smiled slowly, fiercely. "That's our captain." The dropship shot forward. And behind it, the Council opened fire. The moment the Council ships opened fire, the darkness of space lit up with bright arcs of energy. The dropship shook violently as a plasma shot past only meters from its hull. Elora grabbed a seat, holding a child close. "Are we going to crash?" she cried. The pilot shouted back, "Not today." Tara stood firmly in the middle of the dropship, her armor humming as she braced herself. "Everyone stay low," she ordered. "We'll get you inside the Valiant." Soren clenched his jaw. He had faced drones, beasts, fire, but nothing terrified him like this. The Galactic Council was trying to kill them, after abandoning them. He whispered, Why us?" Tara heard him and replied sharply, "Because you survived something they wanted erased." The dropship's desperate flight. The Terran dropship accelerated, pushing its engines to dangerous limits. Council beams streaked across space, glowing bright white as they flew past. Inside, everyone shook with every impact. A civilian shouted, "We're not going to make it." Tara slammed her fist against the wall. "Yes, we will. Look, there." Ahead, the massive hangar of the TUS Valiant opened wider, blue magnetic shields shimmering. Human fighters shot out from the hangar and moved to protect the dropship like a swarm of angry hornets. One pilot's voice came through the comm. "Dropping into escort formation. We've got you covered, helljumpers." Tara nodded. "About time." The Council makes a move. 3 Council cruisers moved into a triangle formation, locking their targeting systems. "Terran dropship," the cold Council voice spoke. "You are carrying restricted assets. Surrender them now." Terra growled. Restricted? Are they calling people cargo now? The council voice continued. If you do not surrender them, we will disable your ship. Before Terra could answer, Captain Rourke's voice blasted across every channel. If you fire on my people again, I will consider it an act of war. A long silence followed. Then the council ships all charged their weapons at once. Rourke's fury. On the bridge of the Valiant, Captain Rourke stood tall, fists clenched. An officer shouted. Council cruisers charging main cannons. They're going to hit the dropship. Rourke didn't hesitate. Activate defensive batteries. Target their weapons only. Disable, don't destroy. Another officer looked shocked. Sir, but they're trying to kill us. Rourke's voice was iron. And we will not cross the line they have. We do not kill those who run from us. We do not kill those who try to intimidate us. He leaned forward. Humanity does not fire the first lethal shot. The officer nodded with respect. Understood. Humanity strikes back, without killing. Blue bolts shot from the Terran warships. Every blast was precise. Every shot hit the council ship's weapon systems, engines and shield nodes. Panels exploded across the enemy hulls. Lights went dark. But none of the blasts were aimed at the bridges or life support. Elora watched from the dropship window, amazed. They're disabling the council ships without hurting them. Terra smiled slightly. Humans don't want war. But we're damn good at it. The dropship hit. A sudden blast slammed into the rear of the dropship. Lights flickered. Everyone screamed as the ship spun violently. The pilot yelled, "We lost stabilizer thrusters." Terra grabbed a support beam to stay upright. How bad is it? Bad. We can't slow down. The dropship hurtled toward the Valiant's hangar too fast. Soren held Elora as she shielded the children. Terra shouted, "Brace for impact." The crash landing. The dropship smashed into the hangar floor. Metal screeched. Sparks exploded. People were thrown against safety nets. Armor scraped and slammed. Then, silence. Followed by the sound of alarms. Smoke drifted through the bay. Engineers rushed in. Terra stood slowly, helmet dented. "We're alive," she said, breathing hard. "Everyone sound off." Elora checked the children. "We're okay, bruised but okay." Soren nodded weakly. "Alive." The civilians had made it. The council's cruisers fall silent. From the hangar window they watched the council cruisers drift. Power disabled, weapons dead, engines offline. Humanity hadn't killed anyone. They just made the council choose between retreat or shame. Terra turned to Elora. "They won't follow us now." Elora looked confused. "Why not?" "Because they just lost a fight they started," Terra said. "And they know if they push harder, humans will push harder back." Captain Rourke arrives. The hangar doors opened again. Captain Rourke marched in with officers beside him. Terra saluted. "Sir." Civilians secured. Rourke nodded with pride. "Good work, Sergeant." But then he looked up at the civilians, dirty, injured, terrified. And he spoke loud enough for the entire hangar to hear. "You are safe now. No one will take you. Not the council. Not anyone." Elora couldn't stop her tears. For the first time in days she felt truly safe. Soren stepped forward. "Captain, what happens now?" Rourke looked at the disabled council ships drifting outside. "Now." He took a deep breath. "Now we tell the galaxy what really happened on Teleris 4. The calm before the storm." But Terra felt uneasy. The fight was not over. The council would not forget this humiliation. Rourke turned to her. "Prepare your team, Sergeant. The council will come again." Terra nodded. "And when they do, we'll be ready." Outside the window, the council ships slowly drifted away, silent and ashamed. But war was getting closer. And humanity never ran from war. The Valiant drifted quietly above the abandoned colony world, its lights dimmed, engines humming like a sleeping beast. Inside, the rescued civilians finally sat in safe, warm rooms. They had food, clean air, and peace, but no one could relax. Because everyone knew the truth. The Galactic Council would return. And next time, they would not hold back. A new fear. Elora stood at the large observation window, staring at the stars. They looked peaceful, but she knew better now. Soren stepped beside her silently. "They're out there. Watching. Waiting," he whispered. Elora nodded. "They abandoned us to die. And now they want to silence us." Soren clenched his fists. "But humans won't let them." Terra's unfinished battle. Meanwhile, in the war room, Terra and her squad gathered around a floating hologram showing the system. 3 council ships had retreated, but dozens more signatures were appearing at the edge of the star map. Reinforcements. Look at this, Tara said, pointing at the growing cluster. That's a full council strike group. One soldier whistled nervously. That many ships only show up for extermination-level threats. Tara gave a sharp, bitter smile. Or to hide their crimes. She looked around at her team. You all know what this means? Ren, the quiet sniper, nodded. War. Captain Rourke's decision. Captain Rourke entered the war room with a datapad in hand. They're gathering a fleet, Tara said. I know, Rourke replied. He placed the datapad on the table and a new hologram appeared. A massive countdown clock. 3 hours left. Soren and Elora, who stood near the doorway, looked confused. What is this? Elora asked. Rourke faced them directly. This is how long we have before the council fleet arrives at full strength. Soren's voice cracked. What are you going to do? Rourke took a long breath. We are going to tell the galaxy the truth. The broadcast humanity would never forget. The Valiant's communication chamber glowed blue as the message system warmed up. Technicians rushed between panels while officers prepared data files. Tara stood beside Rourke. You're really doing this? She asked quietly. Rourke nodded. The council has hidden the truth for too long. Today the galaxy learns that humans saved the people they abandoned. The broadcast light turned red, recording. Rourke stepped forward. He looked tired, angry, determined, and then he began. To every world that can hear my voice. His words echoed across the chamber. This is Captain Elias Rourke of the Terran Union ship Valiant. 3 days ago, the Galactic Council abandoned civilians on Teleris for men, women, children. They left them to die. The technicians exchanged worried looks. He was openly accusing the Council. But Rourke continued, voice rising with controlled fury. Humanity refused to walk away. We rescued them. And the Council tried to destroy us for it. He uploaded footage from the colony. The burned forest, the ruined buildings, the wounded survivors. Elora and Soren appeared on screen, weak, injured, but alive. Rourke stepped closer to the camera. Let every species hear this. Humanity does not abandon the innocent. Humanity does not turn away from danger. And humanity does not bow to fear. He paused. We will stand our ground. If the Council comes for us again, we will defend ourselves. He pressed the final command. Message ends. The broadcast launched across the galaxy. It was unstoppable now. The galaxy reacts. Across distant worlds, screens flickered with Rourke's message. On trade stations, aliens dropped their tools in shock. On political worlds, ministers shouted in panic. On independent colonies, people whispered. The Council abandoned them? Humans saved them? What else has the Council hidden? The galaxy was shaking. And the Council knew it. The enemy arrives. You need to see this, Ren said, rushing into the war room. Tara followed him to the main window. Her blood ran cold. Outside the Valiant, dozens of Council ships appeared in the darkness, huge, glowing shapes forming a deadly wall. Elora held her breath. Soren whispered, They came with everything. The Valiant shook as their engines roared in warning. Tara reached for her rifle. Here we go. The surprise no one expected. But then, something happened. The Council ships stopped. Every single one. Their lights remained cold. Their weapons stayed silent. A communication request flashed on the screen. Rourke frowned. Put it through. A Council ambassador appeared, looking uncomfortable and angry. Terran vessel, we have received your broadcast. Rourke crossed his arms. And? The ambassador inhaled slowly. There is panic across the galaxy. Other species demand an investigation into Telerisk 4. We cannot engage you. Not without proof. Tara raised an eyebrow. So they're backing down? Rourke didn't smile. Not exactly. The ambassador glared. We order you to surrender the rescued civilians for questioning. Elora stepped forward, trembling with fury. You left us to die. We will not go back. The ambassador froze, seeing a survivor alive, strong and unafraid. Rourke spoke coldly. The answer is no. Humanity draws the line. The ambassador hissed. This refusal will have consequences. Rourke leaned closer, voice sharp as a blade. And so will abandoning innocent lives. The communication cut. The Council ships turned. And retreated. Not out of mercy. But out of fear. Fear of the truth. Fear of the galaxy turning against them. Fear of humans who refuse to walk away. The final words. Terra stood with Elora and Soren as the stars slowly cleared. "It's over?" Elora asked softly. "For now," Terra said. "But the galaxy is watching." Soren looked at the thousands of stars glittering in the void. "What happens next?" Rourke answered from behind them. "Next, humanity keeps doing what we always do." He looked out into the endless dark. "Stand up. Protect the innocent. And never, ever run from a fight." The Valiant turned its engines toward home. A single Terran warship, carrying a truth powerful enough to break an empire. And somewhere in the darkness, the galaxy waited for what humanity would do next.